Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is the most brilliant, most unintentionally brilliant guy we have in our sport. Arguably right there with his brother Nick. But these guys do and say things that are so marketable, so funny. Great negotiators on accident. They're accidentally great negotiators, but it's so fun to watch. So Nate's just real. He's just really real. And he did a couple of interviews. Let's start with the first one. He does triathlons. His brother Nick got him into triathlons. So Nate did some interview that I caught. And they were asking about triathlons and MMA. Hey, which one would you rather do? And he said, well, neither one of them is very fun when you're out of shape. So I'd rather do whichever one I was prepared for. And he was talking about, he kicked off his Conor McGregor training camp by doing a triathlon. And he said that when you swim in these triathlons, a lot of times, they'll go to the ocean, right? That's where these guys do their swimming. How far do they have to swim? 2 miles? Is that roughly close? 2.2 miles you got to swim. So you need an ocean, right? You can't just hit hot laps in a pool when there's 1,000 people in one of these triathlons. So he goes out in the ocean. And he said that they usually have you swim out and then you kind of make like a square. You'll take a right, you'll swim another half a mile, and then you turn again and you go back for shore. And he said the triathlon he did was just straight out and straight back, but there were sharks in the water. So right away I'm thinking, well, then the triathlon's off. If there's sharks in the water, whoever the organizer of the event is cancels the event, or the athletes themselves just refuse. The gig is up. Well, no, apparently they just did the triathlon. So they asked him how he overcame that, and he said, I didn't. I just accepted it. I accepted I was going to get eaten by a shark, and this was it. So I swam out there. I swam back. When I got to the shore, I was just so happy that I wasn't dead by a shark because I was pretty sure that was going to happen. And that was his true answer. So tie that in. He goes on the Conan O'Brien show. It was sometime this week. I said it must have been Wednesday. He goes on the Conan O'Brien show, and Conan asked him about MMA and what it's like going into MMA. And he just answered the question. He said, well, when I'm going to the octagon, I just assume I'm going to get knocked out and embarrassed. So I just accept it and work backwards from there. And then whatever happens is a positive. And when I walk out of there and I'm not knocked out and embarrassed, I'm happy. And Conan said, what are you talking about? Every fighter I talk to says that they go out there and they know they're going to win. They're confident. They're going to whip this guy. And Nate goes, yeah, they're all lying. And he's telling the truth. There is no such thing as a confident fighter. I don't know if it's true in any sport. I don't know if LeBron knows he's going to win. I don't know if Serena Williams knows she's going to win, or Tiger. I don't know. I know people act the part. They go play the part. But inside, they're not feeling any of those. They're scared to death. And I love that Nate just admitted it. I love that he just answered the question. I don't know if you guys caught the Nate press conference. Nate said at UFC 200, he does a press conference with Conor. First question comes to Nate. It's in a brand new building. Nate's response to the question was, I can't hear anything you're saying. These microphones are, and then fill in whatever 4-letter words you want. That is not a response to any question. But it was the highlight of the press conference. It was hilarious. He then went on to answer the next 3 questions the same way. They would ask him a questions, and he would respond how crappy the microphones were. When they made the highlight of the press conference, that's all they had on Nate, because it's really all that he said. He just kept ripping on the brand new billion-dollar building and its terrible PA system, and it worked. It was hilarious. By the end of the press conference, Dana White was responding, saying, yeah, Nate's telling the truth. We can't hear anything you're saying. These mics are terrible. How do you turn that into a show? How do you pack the house for a guy to tell the people, I can't hear you because the mic sucks? Well, he did. He did. Nick got there late. Nick got there like 2 days after the press conference, and I saw Nick in the check-in section at the hotel, and he asked me, how'd my brother do? How was the press conference? And I told him all about it. I said it was great. He couldn't hear anything, and he kept telling him how bad their system was. And even by Nick terms, Nick's looking at me like, Chael, that's not a response. I'm like, yeah, I get that that's not a response, but that's the one your brother gave, and the house gave him a standing ovation.